Hello, this is Ryan for Let's Roleplay. It is October 30th, 2021, and here's my channel news. So it's a little strange. I had someone that was watching my first few Morrowind videos the other day, and they're complaining that my mutterings are a little too quiet, unless she really tries to listen to it. I assume it's a she by the name. Maybe, I don't know. I've never had anybody complain about my voice being too low. Like, if I'm talking this loud, usually means that my character's talking out loud. If I'm just talking like this, right, that's just more to myself. And I mean, I guess I could keep the same volume of voice, but that's just to let everybody know what I'm doing. I always thought that my mutterings were loud enough for everyone to hear, so I don't know. But anyways, let's get on with what I wrote down here. Yes, my sleep has been terrible up to the last weekend. Went on for like 3 weeks, maybe a month. But it's really improved now. I mean, I've cut out the sleeping pills, which I was using a few times a week. And I believe that started interfering with my normal sleep when I wasn't using it. And not in the way that you think. Yeah, you can get addicted, but it was also, I had to up the dose or quit, because the normal dose I was taking, I wasn't even getting a full night's sleep. And on the nights I wasn't using it, it took me hours to fall asleep. And then I would wake up sometimes 3 in the morning. And not go back to sleep. So yeah, it was torturous. I spent about a week without taking any, and my sleep got back on track by the end of it, which was like Friday of last week. Today's Saturday, yeah, Friday of last week. And so for the weekend I was right back to work immediately. I was still working whenever I could. It's just when I get really tired, I can't really, the way I would describe it is I can't really think. It's not that you can't think clearly, I can't like reach into that creative part of myself and kind of use it, so I'm just kind of more like a drone. And I make more mistakes, like you would if you don't get enough sleep. So I tried not to work to make videos. I have done that quite a few times, because sleep has been a problem since I was like 16, I'm 45 now. I've done that quite a few times on my videos, probably hundreds of times, and I make the odd mistake. And it's not, I mean, maybe the odd editing thing, but I think more so what I say as my character is what comes out. I've had to edit it out, but yeah, just stupid things that you say, just spur of the moment things you don't think, your head isn't that clear, you can't think it through very well, like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. And not that I'm giving away stuff, it's just like, because my head is right there. Let's just get into the Q&A. My head is right there in the characters' heads, so I mean, I'm definitely not always perfect. So October was a bit of a difficult month for me to get through until the last week. And that's why I had delays in videos up to a week ago. So yes, Fallout 4 is my favorite game. That's on my channel. Favorite game right now. And it's been difficult to play the others for me. Oblivion isn't helping with all its bugs and errors that I'm getting, both in recording of it, so it's Bandicam. I don't know, I can't really blame the recorder though, but because the game is just so buggy, I swear that is Bethesda's most buggy game. I really do. I mean, maybe I've never played Daggerfall, maybe that's even worse. I've heard some bad stories about that, but Oblivion, I had to stop playing. It's the only Bethesda game I had to stop playing because of the crashes, the constant crashing. And I did put in a lot of anti-crash mods, every single thing that I could find on the Nexus mods. Everything. I even went to some of the forums. I was asking about this and that and trying to get things working. I think I got rid of probably 3/4 of the crashes, but it still happens. Years ago, like we're talking 2006 when the game came out, so any mods that I would add to it, just the crashes begin. And yeah, that's before the memory mod that was added and everything else. But there's stupid crashes in there that they've never been able to solve. Like if you have too many ingredients, too many items in your inventory, you have a higher chance of crashing when you change zones. So Bethesda, I think they're one of the excuse me, simultaneously one of the greatest RPG companies out there, but they're also the laziest company out there. And it really came out in Fallout 76. They fell flat in their face. Yeah, I got Buck sent me a message. I don't know if you can see that. I get instant awareness of any messages, or even thumbs up. Sometimes thumbs up, but messages there. I was hesitant to answer them because of it's happened to 2 people that I'm aware of that their account was kind of scrubbed off YouTube, but I don't think that has anything to do with answering on my phone. I just think that's when I found that they were taken off YouTube through my phone, because my phone's always with me, like most people have that. Most people do that. See right there, I said the wrong thing. Sometimes I say that in my videos. So everyone pretty much has their phone next to them at all times, even though it's not really healthy. Yeah, so I always pretty much know. And there's times when in the last year where I've held off from replying because I wait till I get my PC where I'm sitting right now till I can reply. But I always read the messages. I don't think that really matters anymore. I don't think that had anything to do with it. I was just reaching for some reason for why these people were being removed from YouTube, which is crazy. So, I'm back with whatever else I was writing here. So, Fallout 4, Oblivion, Buggy. So the recording of it, as I was saying, Bandicam, I really got off topic there. And the editor. The editor is like... How would I explain this? It's like being fed a garbled message and then giving out a garbled reply to it. That's the editor. Editor is acting up too. So I thought it was the editor problem. Then I looked at the raw clip on... what would it be? So you guys aren't seeing that. Windows Media Player. I think that's what it would be, what I was using. So just using that, because I know that Windows 10 has some other media player. In the last few months asked me if I want to use that. So I don't know if it was Windows Media Player, but it doesn't matter. Just looking at the raw clip, and it's just showing sound and lag in the raw clip, and that's being recorded off Bandicam, and the editor is acting up real bad. It's not like it's showing me the actual clip and then just moving along smoothly. No, it's like not even stopping when I'm trying to stop, so it's really hard. Really hard to edit that. Oh man. That happened to a few of my videos for Oblivion just a few days ago. Like Friday, or Thursday, Friday. Yeah, I had to put it off for a day because I was working. I already worked like 10 hours. I'm just like, this is it. I give it up for today. I'll get back to it tomorrow. It was really, really frustrating. So I don't know why it's doing that. I went from 2400 speed to 3200 speed RAM, and I doubled its size from 16 to 32, so you would think that with the recorder and the editor there wouldn't be a problem. I can understand, I mean, the speed increase of the RAM should affect the game, I would think, directly. And it's not gotten worse, this is just, I don't know how to explain it. I just think this is something rare, but it has happened a few times for Oblivion in the past, since I started making them. Morrowind didn't really have... I shouldn't say that. There was one video where most of it was a sound delay. Yeah. Can't do anything about it. It was already recorded and the clip was deleted, and I didn't even see it until I put it up on my channel. So, not much I can do about it. So, if you've been watching lately, I have been putting stock footage, stock sound, and free-to-use music from YouTube in my Fallout 4 videos, and even in 2 Oblivion videos. I don't know if you caught that. Mostly in the intro, but not always. Like, montage in Fallout 4 of me, I put on, literally, you can't escape the montage, so that's the name of the song, can't be the montage, I put that as I was putting the walls up and getting rid of all the junk and stuff for materials around our little settlement of Sanctuary. So, I mean, that's free to use music from YouTube, and I think there's thousands of them. I thought at first that they would mostly be crap. I don't think there's any great, fantastic ones in there, but I've come across quite a few good ones. Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, I've been putting them into my videos. So, apparently someone else on YouTube, a big role player, someone who I've still never watched and don't really care to, especially now, has been going crazy with using things like this. Just remember, I don't watch the other gaming role players out there, not since I returned in 2020. I watched a few. My Name Is Not Lily, like, we're talking a long time ago, because that guy was out in, like, what, 2007, 2009? A few of his Baldur's Gate videos back in the day. But he wasn't all into role-playing, he was just kind of like semi-role-playing, like I used to do with my Dragon Age videos up to, what, the first 100 of Dragon Age Inquisition. So, who I got most of my idea, like, an inspiration and ideas from, and of course I've gone off in my own direction. I even told him, did he ask me, Gamer Poets, what I'm going to do? I said I was going to use my writing skills, actually. And this is, I don't even know if you can ever, I don't even know if those videos are even up on his channel, but he did some really neat Fallout 3 videos where he started as a character. He was kind of a coward, afraid of everything. Not like cartoonishly so, but somebody that's never been exposed to the world, that's been living in a vault and is having to face danger for the first time. It kind of makes sense, and he did a pretty good job of it. Though he didn't have the intros that I do, and he didn't do writing. And I swear, this is something I will not do. I swear that he went over. He would do like play ahead and see what he's going to come up against, so he's ready for it with proper answers and things like that. I just was suspicious if that was he was doing. Not that it's bad, that's fine. I just don't want to do that because the tedium required. And he would only put out like a couple videos a week, maybe one video a week. So yeah, there's no way I can do that. See, he would also do something neat, like he would look in Fallout 3 when you look through something like a window, he would actually, I don't know how he did this, like he would go on the outside and then show the footage from the outside of that building, because he would be able to see through into the next zone that you would need to load into, whatever it's called for Bethesda games. So he would look through a window and then you would see like the outside. As he did that quite a few times in his videos, not a ton of times, maybe a half a dozen out of the 20 videos I watched, but it was kind of interesting. But I don't really care to. I mean, it's not like I can't do that, stuff like that. I just don't care to. It's all about time. I mean, if I put out a couple videos a week, then sure, I would add this and that. And that's what I was told, that this specific YouTuber who's a big role player, with his channel, he, somebody said this to me. Not any of you guys who are probably watching this. Somebody said, because if you go back to, I did this video last year, about the middle of last year, about how I do my role-playing videos. Last I saw, I got maybe 150 views. And I explained how I did it all, and then a few people came on to critique and said that this other person does better role-play videos than me. I don't care. And I had people get on and defend me. And that's all fine. I'm not in any competition. I just want my channel to grow. I want people to watch it. I want to make a living off this. That's my goal. I don't care how well or what the other person is doing on their channel. Bless you. My point is that I was told to this person that was critiquing me that they think that this other person is better for their role-playing videos because they modded in things to go along with their story, which is very interesting, but the time... I'd rather write my stories and get mods instead of working to create mods. Now, I have created a few Bethesda mods, very, very minor ones, in the last 20 years. We're talking about going back to Morrowind. I actually upped the difficulty of Dagoth and what are those elephant-like creatures that he has? Jeez. The Ascended Masters. Yeah, because they're so slow in the game. I mean, we're talking me 19 years ago or 18 years ago. They're so slow, and I increased their combat power or spell power, but I also increased their speed to be like twice as fast. I made Dagoth I made him so fast that he would zip around. I made him really challenging too, and I didn't even know that that he was of different difficulties, because he has different places he spawns. The first place where you fight him in the first room, where you finally meet him, and then you go into the heart chamber and he's there, and then he has all his powers. And actually, he was destroying my character, Snail Railvan. He was destroying him. If I'd stayed around fighting for another 10-20 seconds, he would have died. In fact, I did not excuse me, I think that did happen. I couldn't stay and fight him. He's just too powerful. So that's why you'll see Snail run off and try to jump down onto the bridge below, and then, or did he use levitate? But anyways, he was going for beelining for the heart to take the heart down, because he was going to die for certain. And I didn't, because my companions could die if they get hit hard enough. I had to do it fast, because I think that also happened. I go after the heart, and then he literally kills my companions behind me, or one of them at least. So yeah, it was a bit of a race. I upped the difficulty of him. I have no idea what I was doing. I did know what I was doing, but I don't know how or why I would have done that if in the heart chamber he's so tough. Strange. But anyways, that's just one of the mods that's been lost to time. I don't even know what site that is on. I don't think it exists anymore. Not that it would have been very good. I think Dagoth was pretty much perfect the way he was. It could have been a little bit tougher in that first fight, but I don't know. So, really getting off here. So that was all years ago with Gamer Poets, 2014, 2015, when he did those videos. He stopped doing them, and I think he took a lot of flack for what he was doing. I don't know. He was making videos kind of like, he made a song that was attacking trolls, so I take it he got a lot of trolls. I don't get trolls, it's just strange. I don't know, maybe my intros are, just make it so it's kind of troll-proof. Like, it makes it seem mature and not stupid, but his videos weren't stupid. I don't know. Maybe he's just also sensitive. That's the first thing you don't do, is you don't respond to trolls, and I'm like cringing as I'm watching it. It was hard to watch that music video he did. It was kind of rapping to against the trolls, telling them to go suck it. You don't like his stuff. Anyways, don't respond to trolls. At worst, you delete them. At best, they don't exist. You just don't acknowledge them. I really don't get any trolls. I used to get the odd trolling comment before I came back in 2020. Real loser comments, I tell you. That's just to elicit a response. You just don't respond at all, period. So I don't know what others are doing for the role-playing channel out there. I'm blind. I'm getting... What I'm actually hearing is from you guys making your comments, what they're doing. I just don't do it. I just don't. I like what I'm doing. Not that I'm getting... I don't want to get stuck. I always want to improve, but I think I'm doing okay. I mean, if you guys have any major critiques, I'm sure I would have heard it by now. If you have any advice, go ahead and leave it, but I'm not into modding in things into my game. I will write, I will voice act, I will add stock footage, pictures, whatever it takes, but I don't want to spend time modding. I know that can be very time consuming, and the writing is most time consuming. Actually, that takes most of my energy. I don't know if you guys, a lot of people who don't write, if you don't really reach for that creative side and kind of pull your higher self into your work, it's hard to explain. Yeah, because I mean, I've done a lot of labor jobs in my life. It's not the same feeling, because my head actually, literally, I can feel my brain getting tired after doing 4 videos, and that's what, an hour to an hour and a half of, maybe even 2 hours sometimes, of writing per day when I do my 4 videos. That's the biggest time consumption. It's also the biggest energy consumer for me, so my head is tired by the time I do those 4 videos. It is. So yeah, and then when I get tired, I also I stumble through my voice acting for the intros, and then I have to keep fixing it and go over and over again and edit that in and edit that out. So yeah, I really don't like getting too tired. So yeah, that was all years ago, watching those other role-playing channels. So I don't know what they're doing. I'm just doing my own thing and innovating and improving as I go as much as I can. Yeah, I welcome feedback and positive criticism, not trolling criticism. I don't even know if that's a thing, but you know what I mean. So I don't have the income to pay for stock footage. I have to use the free stuff. But even seeing all the paid for stock footage, which is often better, not completely, in every case, there are still... It wouldn't be that much that I can do other than what I'm already doing. So I know that... my goal is only to add to the videos, the stock footage will never become the videos. Eventually I would like to get paid, the paid for ones, but my channel needs to bring in more income than it currently is. I've already had some people worry about me overusing it in the future. I don't think that is any criticism over what I've done so far, and I don't really plan to do any more than what I've done. It's not like I'm going to get a camera to follow myself around. Or, I mean, I always could. I do have a camcorder, and I could go to the park and film this or that. Who knows? But could film the skies. But there's lots of footage like that of weather events, and it just doesn't seem like I need to film anything. And I certainly don't want to put my family on YouTube. So, don't worry. My videos will be full of stock footage. It won't happen. I cannot imagine making my videos all about the stock footage, which is what I was told that this other person is doing. That just doesn't sound right to me. The videos, the games, the stories in the games are what's driving everything, as I said those words. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to go even further than that, than what I've already done. There may be more in some videos and maybe less, but I definitely don't want to make them all about the stock footage. That's kind of bizarre to me. So here's a screenshot from my analytics. I'd like to talk about how popular what Let's Roleplay series are on my channel, and here's a picture from my YouTube analytics today. Oblivion was in the top spot for about 2 months, but over time, Morrowind overtook it again. Morrowind has, other than the 2 months, been the #1 playlist on my channel all year. But look at Fallout 4, it's been out for nearly a month and a half, and it's already in the #3 spot. I can see it overtaking Oblivion over the next few months, maybe even overtaking Morrowind next year. Okay, now that that's all been taken care of, that's the channel news, I guess. Let's go on to the Q&A. Weird that it shows night... Is that rice? Yeah, it's gotta be rice, not ris. Rice. If it's ris, let me know. Then it shows Dotic, or is it Dotic? I don't know. I'm gonna say Dotic, just because it's one word. And she posted a day ago, and then it shows Buck from 4 days ago, even though I don't know why YouTube does that. Kind of throws me off. Maybe that's a bit of my OCD coming out, which I have a teeny bit of, I think. I think everybody has some degree of whatever in them. But I have a teeny bit of OCD-ish. OCD. So, this is easier on my my WordPad thing I did. So his questions are: when you're role-playing, how much of yourself wait, now you wrote that wrong. Of yourself, if is your various characters of your of yourself of your various characters, I'm guessing. Do you ever just sort of wing it and react to the various situations that each game presents as your real life self would? What has been your favorite game to roleplay? What has been your least favorite game to roleplay? Do you enjoy any sports, either playing or watching? If you could describe yourself in one word, what word would you use? So, when you're roleplaying, how much of yourself is in your various characters? It's completely me, if I can talk right, through these other characters. It's like as if my soul was transferred into the body and takes over these characters. I have their memories and experiences and natural skills, I guess, physical and natural skills, whatever they are. But that's the simple answer. Sometimes things mix together and really surprise me. I don't know how things will go as I create these videos. If I've played the game before, then I have like a direction that I follow that I want to go with, but things always come up to that I react to in real time as I go, even if I've done it before. I mean, no one remembers every exact word and step and thing that you're going to have to do, especially when you haven't played the game in a few years. So even with Baldur's Gate, the first game, oh god, I never want to play that game. I love it, I have played it in my life, probably completed it about 7 times, probably played it about a dozen times in total. I don't want to play it anymore. In the last 21 years, yeah, I got it right when it came out in 98, and played it. I didn't really like it at first, which is weird. I guess I wasn't used to real role-playing games. But I played it again in 2000. Didn't like it still. I played it to the end, finished the main story, didn't like it. I think I've said this in my videos before. And then, it was like fast forward. I didn't like it, and I actually gave my copy away to a guy I was working with. He was asking about it. I just gave it to him, the original game. This is like 2004. And then it wasn't until I saw Baldur's Gate 2 for the cheap on... No, I ordered Baldur's Gate 2, even. I like the genre, right? So, even though I didn't like the first game, I ordered it, and I probably still have the CDs, or did I throw the CDs out a few years ago? So I ordered it, and it comes with tons of CDs. And then the expansion and whatever, and then I played through it a little bit, didn't like it. It was really strange with me, but anyways, it was around 2009 that I was thinking about it, I think I saw it for on sale, maybe on Steam. And no, I didn't. No, I went back and played the discs version. That's right. That's probably how I first finished it. And then I bought it later when it came out. I think it's a 2013 game in the extended version. Then I played it. I have no idea I even got to this point where I'm talking about this game. Various situations that I react to in real life. Yeah, I didn't like it. Sorry. how much of myself is my various characters. Yeah, I'm really going off. Anyways, I didn't like it, and then I started playing it again. I played the EE version of Baldur's Gate, and I liked it. And then I played the second game, and I liked it. So, yeah, I've just played it so many times in the EE versions. I'm just really tired of it. So I know how it's going to go, yet still things come up with your character as things go on. So I don't know how I'm going to react exactly. I may come up with a general idea that this is coming up and this is what I want to do, but you're not going to know exactly until you get there. So sorry to go off on such a tangent, but do you ever just sort of wing it and react to the various situations that each game presents as your real life would? Yes, that's how it always is, pretty much. It's even more winging it when I encounter something surprising, like a big plot twist in a game I haven't played before, such as the Two Pillars games and Dragon Age Inquisition, which I hadn't played before. I played it as I went. It took me a long time. That is my #1 largest playlist game. I think there's 283 or 284 videos. It's a ridiculous amount. Almost 300. The only thing that comes close would be, I think it did a Crusader Kings 2 playlist that came, was it 270 videos? Those are easy to do, though. There's no role-playing, no writing. Easy to do those. I can probably pump out 10 of those a day if I wanted to. 10, 20 to 30-minute videos. Very, very easy to do. But, yeah, then it would be Morrowind would be the 3rd largest in the playlist. But, I hadn't played Morrowind in such a long time. It was almost like playing the game from the beginning again. I guess, like, if you hadn't been to, say, Disney World or something like that in, like, 30 years, that's how it felt for me. That's how it felt for me. And going back, you kind of know the layout. You kind of know what's where, what's in each park, and what's in each park. But, yeah. It's going to be a different experience for you, right? So, especially when you're older, you have different life lessons you've learned, different expectations, you've matured through this and that. You just see things differently. So it would have been... I didn't get it right away. I actually remember a screenshot of Morrowind from around 2002, and I thought it looked weird. It showed a dark elf. I'm like, why is she blue, or something like that? I just thought it would be a weird game. Yes, I did know about Drow back then, so... I mean, I have my books behind me with Drizzt. I call him Drizzt. It's Drizzt, I think is the proper name to pronounce it. Yes, he is. I like that character very much. I have like literally 30 books. Well, 20 to 30. I don't know the count. Yeah, so I mean, I got into it like a year later, and it was a great game, and I just trying to remember how things were. I definitely remember the fight with Dagoth and I didn't... Oh, so I did Tribunal back then. I didn't finish... My son is stomping upstairs. I didn't finish the Blood Moon. The last final DLC for Morrowind. That was new to me, actually. I didn't know I'd be fighting a god at the end. I knew there was werewolves in there. Did I? Yeah, they kind of tell you when you first get to the island. If you talk to that Nord guy right outside the fort, the Frostmoth. I'm going to forget all these names in a year or two. I have to recall all these things. Forgot about the name of the Ascended Masters there for a moment. Is that what they're called? Ascended Masters? Or is that a spiritual thing? Ascended something for Dagoth. But anyways, yeah, so I didn't know that I'd be fighting werewolves, and geez, they were tough. I had to actually lower the difficulty when I ran out of hammers, otherwise I couldn't finish the video. I think I lowered it to normal, whatever that was. So I had the difficulty ramped up. So that was surprising for me, and when I encountered all those werewolves, and they hit hard. And I had a lot of hammers on me, and usually it lasts, but it didn't last through when I went to a match, the big, whatever it called, the maze match that that god had put for him. For, not Malcolm, but Sunil. So, third question, what has been your favorite game to roleplay? I would say Fallout 4. I can more relate to the world, but it also has the challenge of requiring more research on my part as such for the US military and how things work. Whenever I talk about that stuff, well, almost every time, it's from something I've done research on. So what has been your least favorite game to roleplay? Definitely Pillars of Eternity. I can't tell you which one I dislike worse. I actually liked most of Pillars of Eternity too, but it became quite clear near the end that there really wasn't much to my companions, and the romance was about the most shallow romance that I've ever seen in an RPG. I don't know how they can make it like that, and it's a 2018 game. So an isometric game using mostly text made in 2000, which is Baldur's Gate, was so much more in depth than a 2018 isometric game. They never even tried, if you ask me. And it's not just the shallow romance, it's all the companion characters in the game. There really just wasn't that much there. There's a little bit, but even the best of them are about 1/4 of what BioWare, you criticize BioWare all you want, at least they try with their characters, of what BioWare puts into their characters. I really think this is Obsidian's biggest failing in their RPGs. They need to up their romance game, for one, and in-depth characters that are just feel more like they're your buddies along with you, not you get one quest for each one and they may talk to you like 3 or 4 times throughout the game. And when you're playing a game that could be like 20 to 50 or more hours, like that's really shallow. It's really, really bad. They could have done better. So by the last 20 videos of Pillars of Eternity 2, I just wanted it to be over. I've never had that with any other RPG on my channel. Keep that in mind. The first game was even worse for me, actually, I should say. I don't ever want to do Obsidian games, new ones, until they get their act together. I did buy their, I haven't put it on my channel, of course. I bought their game, was it 2 years ago? That one where you go into space, it's really kind of a funky game. It's got some neat ideas, but it's pretty quirky. It's a bit shallow when it comes to your companions, too. I like that they interject stuff more as you go through your quests. Now, what the heck is that name? I want to say Starfield. When I was trying to remember the name of Starfield, I couldn't remember it. I think it was the last video or two I did. So, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Where you're, like, frozen, or you wake up and then this crazy old guy with white hair basically tells you you've got to do this and get out of here. Or you're going to die or something like that. He was doing something illegal, waking you up. Yeah, I forget the name of it. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. It just came out like 1.5 to 2 years ago. And I did not finish that game. I probably got 9/10 through it. I just stopped. I just got bored of it. I was waiting for... I was a little disappointed there's no romances in it. But what am I... This is before I started on my channel again. So we're talking 2019. So it was before I just knew how bad Obsidian could be. I think they have so much potential. They can make good plots. I don't think Pillars it's not a very engaging world, though. I just don't really find it, like, it has some things that are interesting. It's just not as, just doesn't seem to have the soul that I'm looking for in a game. I don't know how to explain it. But, they're putting out a 3D version that's in the Pillars of Eternity universe. I forget what it's called. Of course, it's mine. Whatever. I don't know how well it will turn out to be, but I'll keep my eyes on it. But I just don't want to do another Obsidian game. The older ones, such as Neverwinter Nights 2, yes, I will do that. Ironically, the first expansion for that game, Mask of the Betrayer, had one of the best romances I've ever experienced in an RPG. But when you look into how it was made, they had actually, because I saw a video on that, they hired someone extra to do the work on the game who emphasized romance for it. I don't think that person continued to work with them afterwards. It was just for that expansion. But I will definitely be doing that one. Do you enjoy any sports, either playing or watching? Martial arts, yes. I was training in one before my spine injury. One of the local places around here. The guy even sung at my wedding, actually. But I have taken my older son to it, and he's had a lot of fun. As for watching sports, I used to watch MMA matches, and then hockey, NHL, which is, if you don't do that, you're actually considered weird here. If you don't like hockey at all. So when our team is doing well, the Vancouver Canucks. But for the most part, I don't have time for that. Was it 2011 was their last time in the playoffs? Getting to the 4th round of the playoffs, I should say. And it was, yeah, that went bad. Boston. That went bad. Okay. Ironically, my favorite game is now in Boston. I didn't even think about that till right now. So, but for the most part, I don't have time for it. When I was younger, I used to play a lot of basketball in my teens. We played street hockey as well. That's what all the kids did. Basketball, well, for some reason, basketball wasn't that big until I was like, what, 14, 15? I don't know why. Then just everyone was playing basketball. So yeah, I was in basketball, or not in basketball. I was playing basketball. We had our own hoop. Me and my friends would play quite a bit, almost every day, actually. So I was also on the school soccer team in grade 7. And when I was really young, I still have this trophy, I was in lacrosse. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's a big rubber ball that you catch with this stick and net. I don't even remember lacrosse stick. It's been 39 years. I was 6 years old when I got this trophy. So yeah, I still have it. It says, Surrey Rebels, Division 10, 82, Ryan. Also, a few years later, I was on the baseball team. So that was outside of school, lacrosse and baseball. I do like baseball. I like playing baseball. Don't really like watching it. If you could describe yourself in one word, what word would you use? I would hope you would ask in 2 words, or in 1 sentence. But just 1 word, then it would be love. I guess it means a lot to me. And I'm talking about love not just for romance, but for your family, life, the world, God, everything. People with no love in them, they kind of disgust me. I cannot have anything to do with them on a personal level. Okay, so we're going to go to Buck because he posted the second set of questions. Heard any good rumors lately? Boy, do I have a video for you. That's 1. 2, what is your favorite armor set in the Elder Scrolls? 3, if you were transported into the Commonwealth, what type of weapon would you personally be most likely to use? 4, any hints on a potential romance candidate for Ryan in Fallout 4? My friend and I had a slight disagreement. I said you're going to go for Curie, but my friend said Piper. My first playthrough, I romanced Piper. And ironically, I know I'm answering this out of turn, but I just want to answer now because I didn't write this part down. It just came to me. I didn't even play through to the end with Curie where she changes into outside of her robot form. I just thought she was another boring robot, kind of like Codsworth. And that was before the expansions, so obviously I stopped at the very end. I'm not going to give anything away. I'm sure most people who are watching this know how Fallout 4, the main game before the expansions, ends. I have not played the expansion, so that part is new to me. And, yeah, God, I love that game. I just do. I don't know why it has so much criticism, but I really love Fallout 4. So number 5, with 1 being not at all, 5 being average, and 10 being as much as possible, would you rate your day-to-day... What would you rate your day-to-day happiness level? Okay. Buck. Heard any good rumors lately? Well, here's the video.
I hope I can help. I've heard that they have good magic trainers over at the Mages Guild.
Ogier Jirek has a good selection of ingredients at the main ingredient.
Calendil runs a nice place at the Mystic Emporium.
On Cyrodiil's northern border is the sparsely populated mountain wilderness called the Valus Mountains.
Yeah, I found that funny. You can watch that. You can watch that video. The link will be in the description. The full video. I just took some of the beginning ones for useless comments, useless rumors. They really were useless. I found them rather funny. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. I don't know how else to answer you. Unless you're talking about something else, in which I already gave you the address of where to go for that. So number 2, what is your favorite armor set in Elder Scrolls? I'd say modded Dragonbone armor, Skyrim. But I'm going to see about armor mods for Skyrim when I get around to putting that game on my channel and see what they have to offer. I know there's a mod that Fudge Muppet, Fudge Muppet praised, or the Epic Nate, that all the guards' armors change. It makes the game feel a little different. And I'm going to see it. I saw videos of that. It looked pretty interesting. Some of the armor in Skyrim and in previous games, I don't really like how they look. So, I mean, yeah, I guess everybody has their favorite. I would say overall of the games I put on my channel, though, so it would be Morrowind and Oblivion. My favorite armor would be Mithril armor in Morrowind. I just like how it looks. I wish that they kept that in the games. Wish they still had medium armor, but I understand You know what's funny? That... Oh, who is it? I know Todd Howard. He said that... He said something about they're not going to be stripping down more for their games. They're going to be adding more. Something along... Not for certain, but... He's talked about... He brought that up, and I think they should bring your attributes back. Your strength and all that. Endurance. That's missing in Skyrim, if you ask me. One of the worst things about Skyrim, the absolute worst thing, is how your charisma is handled. And speech with other... They just... I know it wasn't very good in Morrowind, and I don't think it's very good in Oblivion either, although I think it's a bit of an improvement with that little mini-game. I just like it, okay? I like it better than clicking the damn thing over and over again, seeing someone how much they like you go down to 0, and then bribing them to get it to go back up that it was in Morrowind. I like it better than that in Oblivion, the speech, getting people to like you in Oblivion. But it's non-existent in Skyrim. So they need to have charisma. It's not even there. Like they have your 3 color-coded stats, but it's not even there, and they need to bring that back. I think that Fallout 4 is a vast improvement. In fact, that I think is the... How is it handled? They have Speechcraft in Fallout 3, with the old rules. Is it okay? Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. I like it in the way they handle it in Fallout 4. When you see like a yellow thing, it's pretty much for sure choice that you're gonna... No, it's difficulty level, right? They have yellow, orange, and red. Does it not change color the higher your charisma is and the better you are at talking to people? So like, if you're like 1 charisma, it would be red. If you're like 10 charisma, it would be like yellow. I don't know. There's some rules that I'm having to relearn because I haven't played Fallout 4 in a couple years. Such as that really irritating thing with the elite guys that you go up against. Got that star on them. First hit, or it's either the first hit or when they get to half health, they fully recover health. So I'm going to start saving my critical hits for once they do that recovery thing, then hit them. Sometimes, if you're lucky, if your weapon is good enough, you can take them out. And yeah, I remember doing that. Of course, I don't remember it until I make literally 30 videos. So, but yeah, I have to remember a lot of things. And I was talking about armor here and Elder Scrolls. Okay, so third question, if you were transported into the Commonwealth, what type of weapon would you personally be most likely to use? My favorite weapon of all of Fallout... Oh, yeah, I messed this question up. Okay, so I'm going to answer your question, but I'm also going to answer a question you didn't ask, because I wrote down an answer that you didn't ask. My favorite weapon, if it was just one throughout the entire series, would be the YK-42B pulse rifle. That's basically how you can win the game when you go up against Frank Horrigan at the end of Fallout 2. I do believe it's in Fallout New Vegas as well. I don't know if it's as powerful, but it is one powerful-ass weapon in Fallout 2. That would probably be my most favorite. But in general, so to answer your question, I like rifles. But that's... It skips categories, the rifle thing. I'm not talking about big, giant weapons. In Fallout 4, that would be my normal weapon. Assault, or Gauss? Whatever. Gauss rifles. Energy or non-rifles are my typical go-to favorite. Not the big super guns, though. The Gauss rifle, I don't even know how to say this, guys. Correct me, please, if you can. G-A-U-S-S. Gauss rifle in Fallout 4. I got a really good one in my first playthrough when I finished the main story, but I used it sparingly because I guess the ammo isn't super common, and I used it only against big threats. So, but that one that I had was it had 50% more damage to robots. Does that count as synths as well? And I don't know. It just said robots, I think. I don't think it said robots and synths. But if it was, I just kind of assumed it would be for synths as well. And this is also before that Automatron expansion, DLC. Which I like, actually. A lot of fighting of it. Makes actually going out into the wasteland a little bit more dangerous when there's groups of robots and they're not... When you first start out, they're not wimps. It's pretty tough. And keep in mind, my game is on hard mode. I have died quite a few times, actually. Even with all my companions. That's another reason why I don't mind having 3 other companions with me. And yeah, that game, in that game with the 50% more damage robots Gauss weapon rifle, that I modded it to its best possible damage, and it's basically my super killer that I used against Deathclaws and anything really threatening. Number 4. Any hints on a potential romance candidate for Ryan in Fallout 4? My friend and I had a slight disagreement. I said you're going to go for Curie, but my friend said Piper. Buck, you are a very interesting man. I don't want to answer any more than that, because if I say anything, you'll know what I'm saying. You're an interesting man. So I don't always like to give away information like that ahead of time. I had this part planned out since probably around 2 years ago, so 2019, late 2019. So I'm glad I can put it to use now. I think a hint would be in episode 32. 5. With 1 being not at all, 5 being average, and 10 being as much as possible, what would you rate your day-to-day happiness level? Probably between 8 on days that I get enough sleep. And usually it's consistent. I actually, oddly enough, before I started making videos again, on my channel I was getting good sleep for years. I don't know what happened. I did get really sick last year. There's a bunch of stuff that came up. I had shingles and... Ugh, it was a horrible summer, actually. Terrible summer. So without good sleep, at probably 3 or so. Dotic. Have you considered role-playing other games in the future, such as Grounded, Infected, or other survival-type games? What inspired you to start streaming your roleplays? What are your future plans for the channel? My future plans. How long does it take for you to create a backstory for your characters? Hope it isn't too late to post this. I've been watching your vids from the shadows. You have great content, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Oh, thank you very much. Hope that's not too bright on me. I have a little, you can see it. Watch what I do. Wow, it's like a halo. It's so bright in the video. Yeah, it's a little light because I didn't know that my light on the ceiling wasn't bright enough when it comes to the webcam before I started experimenting with it earlier this year. Okay, so first question from Dotic. Have you considered role-playing other games in the future, such as Grounded, Infected, or other survival-type games? So I do like survival games, or even RPGs with survival elements, such as for Skyrim. I would have done Fallout 4 in survival mode, but the tedium, reloads, and pure frustration of my experience using it some years ago, and the lack of mods right now on the wasn't it called the Elder Scrolls Nexus at one time? And now it's just Nexus mods. There's some older ones, but you go on there and people are complaining that it just doesn't do anything, doesn't work. So knowing that and my frustration, like I remember being in the Corvega plant and having to reload, I'm not joking, 30 times. This is a spot where it gets in a big fight, and not the end. I always seem to get a fight in the stairwell when there's like 20 guys trying to come up. And they would throw grenades and I would just get killed with one grenade. and you can't save unless you sleep in a place, and there was none that I could find in there. So I'm not going to go through that again, not to mention getting sick. You can get sick just by sleeping in the wrong, in a bed out in the open. And then your character's stats go down, and then you have to find... You have to get a means of curing, which is like a special thing that's not in the non-survival things, and it's not exactly, if I remember right, the easiest thing to make at the very beginning of the game. I just don't want to go through that. I know when I went through, when you save Preston Garvey and the Settlers, it wasn't even the Deathclaw that you fight, it was just going inside there, I would get one shot. Not even on... Was it hard? It may have been hard mode too, or normal. Because the damage the enemy does to you is like 2.5 times or 3.5 times, something like that. And you do more damage to them, but they do way more damage back. So I just don't want to go through that. And if there's nothing to edit it, I want to be able to enjoy my time and just make a story. I do as much survival type. As you can see, I always sleep and eat and drink my water. I would have loved if it was done well to be able to do it, but in Fallout 4, but I just don't want the frustrations. Skyrim, ironically, even though the game came out 4 years earlier, was the survival mode was done after Fallout 4's. And ironically, with the modding, the weight, that's my only issue with the Skyrim survival mode, is modding my weight back to the original carry weight, which I will be doing. It's the only issue I take care with it. I'm perfectly fine with that and plan to use it in my Skyrim playthrough. But as for pure survival games, yes, in the future I plan to have one series of games going that is not a dedicated RPG, even though I will be playing completely in character. And that will come but it's years from now, as my game lineup is pretty thick at the moment, and I have to get through a bunch first. Probably after Baldur's Gate 3 and or Neverwinter Nights 2, whichever happens. Whichever way I play it, because I don't know. Baldur's Gate 3 it's still early access. So I mean, right now it's October 30th. I've read that it may not even be completely finished till 2023. And if that's the case, then maybe I'll have time to throw in. I probably would, because I'm not going to have a big gap of just 2 games going instead of 3. I'll probably play Neverwinter Nights 2 and do that whole thing. Yeah, and then after Baldur's Gate 3, or whichever one comes first, I want to do the Witcher series, but that won't take that slot, if you know what I mean. That will be in either Fallout or the Elder Scrolls slot, and that's years from now. So either whichever ends first, the Elder Scrolls or Fallout series, Witcher series comes after. They may even be working or finish Witcher 4 by then. They've been talking about it, but I think CD Projekt Red has their hands full. They're dedicated, and I have to commend them for this. They're completely dedicated to getting Cyberpunk 2077 to the game that they had basically said it would be. They're just pumping in millions of dollars. They have hired like lots of new staff. They had a lot of staff go, but I hear that that's kind of normal once a game is completed or so. But they've been hiring staff. Like, I've been following them, and they said they're going to be adding in everything to make the game as complete as they wanted to. Their original vision of the game, they want to get to there, and I probably won't happen till 2022. They're haven't even gotten to the point where they wanted to be after the game came out, and everyone's complaining about how it is. December was supposed to be another big patch. That was supposed to be their finished version of the game, and from there they just enhance it with I guess some DLC and or whatever enhancements they can throw in along the way. But they're not even there yet. They're behind even that in that. I do think Cyberpunk 2077 is a good game, and I would put it in my top 10 RPGs. The actual stories, not the bugs, the stories with your characters. This is where Obsidian needs to up their game, the losers. I'm jaded after playing 2 Pillars of Eternity games. I feel like saying never again. Yeah, ugh. It was just awful. Awful experience. And if you don't believe me, try doing what I did. Playing it on your own is much different experience than making videos for it, where you're fully in character and you write out all of it like I do. Yeah, it's an awful experience. So, Cyberpunk is pretty good. They did their characters. I shouldn't say that, because they did a couple of their characters really well. And a couple of them, probably about halfway, is where you would think it's ideally done. So the 2 main romances with the girls, one's if you're a lesbian female and if a straight male, those ones were done very well. So I don't know, they needed more romance. They needed the other 2 ones. They should have added more to the actual characters. So, not that I played a lesbian female. I just know that Judy, who is the lesbian female choice, she's also actually pretty decent just to have as a companion. So, and it's not like other RPGs where they follow along with you. It's more like kind of like The Witcher, actually. You have some companions for certain missions, and that's about it. You don't have someone that follows you everywhere. I don't know. I don't know if they'll ever change that, but that's something that Bethesda seems to be really going in the direction of, and that's more of a BioWare type thing. And I actually like that. I do. So, back to... There's more I wrote about. Yeah, so... the Dishonored series, narrative games like The Wolf Among Us, survival games like The Long Dark, which I haven't finished. I finished... There's 5 different acts, I think. I don't even think the 5th one's out yet. I think they just announced they finished the 4th as of October 30th, 2021 right now. So I finished the first act and got to near the end of the second, which is a super long act. But it's a neat game. It's the Mass Effect male and female main character voices, and I believe that what I read a few years ago, that after Act 2 you don't play as the same guy. You play as the ex-wife, who is the female voice of Mass Effect, so of the Fem-Shep. That's how she's described as her name. Fem-Shep, so it's male Shep and Fem-Shep. And that's a pretty, they changed it a lot from what it was, but I think it's a pretty good game, survival game. I don't think it's the best, but it's an interesting one at least, and it has story in it. It's not just pure survival. Other survival games, I don't think Alien Isolation is a actual dedicated survival game. It's more of a survival game to the, not to the elements, but against the enemies such as the xenomorphs and the other things in there. I think that game had a lot of potential, and I like it. It's just this frustration level that I went through playing that game. I don't know if I ever want to play it again. Other survival games I have Subnautica. I have Empyrean Galactic Survival, which I barely touched. I've gotten somewhat far in Subnautica. It's kind of an interesting game. I do like the water and all the fish, colorful fish in there. It's pretty neat. I don't like the fact that they really went out of their way, so the only weapon you actually do get, as far as I know, is just this little knife, and that's just for scaring off the sharks that come after you. I don't know why you couldn't, and you can replicate all these things. You replicate everything with the machines. It's pretty neat, but if you had like a weapon to use, it would help. I think that's my biggest frustration with that game. I also have This War of Mine. Now, that's a really interesting survival type game. You don't just play for you play for a whole group of survivors. Well, 2 to 4 to 5 people, survivors. It's not a big group, but I have other ones that's not even on. I don't remember what it's called. It's from Paradox. It's a game that for early access, apparently it's just being fully released, and I don't remember what it's called, where it's nuclear war survival thing, and it's a strategy game. That one is also survival, in a way. You do have to survive. You have to feed it, make sure everyone's taken care of. And there's other ones like that out there too. I've been looking at them, so yeah. I can look at others in the future. So next question, what inspired you to start streaming your roleplays? My roleplay videos are a combination of my experiences playing MMOs, actually. That's probably the heart of it. While learning how to be fully in character back then, it would have been in Warhammer Online. That was my deepest role-playing experience with my guild, which is a dedicated role-playing guild. And for the most part, it was that game, but also in Star Wars The Old Republic, I was into some role-playing guilds. But it actually really started, the very start was back in World of Warcraft. When would that have been? 2005, I think. I know it came out in November of 2004, but I actually started, I ran into some role players in early 2005. They gave me a lot of ideas and upped my game. Oh wait, I'm reading this wrong. Yeah, so these people I met, they just wanted to RP all day long. And I thought that was weird because I just wanted to get experience, right? Level my character up. And I found it odd at first. And I slowly got eased into it. Of course, it was a girl. I was single at the time. And it was... That was back when all men and boys need to get drilled in their head. Whoever you run into, it isn't necessarily another woman that's out there willing to date you. So yeah, I tried hard to roleplay with this girl, and I do believe that she liked me. This person who was playing a female character, at least, and the person playing that character may not have realized it, but it kind of affected me in more ways. As the years went on, I kept on thinking back to that. How could I have roleplayed different? I just remember saying to her, "You're a pretty girl," or something like that, and she roleplayed back. Like, oh, she's kind of like, it would have been like a cringe moment for her, and she said something like, "Everybody tells me that." What did she say? That she's kind of hoping I wouldn't say that to her. I don't know. Strange. But yeah, this was in RP. This is in fully in character, by the way. And we didn't really have a relationship outside of character. So I ran into her several times. I mean, it's not that big of a world back in the original game. Yeah. And she was friends with friends that were teaching me how to be in character. So that kind of resonated with me. And I did try to get into more RP guilds over the next few years in World of Warcraft, because I played the game for like 4 years. But it wasn't until the end of 2008 when Warhammer came out. I played it for a little while, got tired of it. Or no. My computer wasn't powerful enough to play it. I came back with a more powerful computer like 6 months later. And started on the destruction side, and I ran into a guild that was completely in character, role player guild, and I just joined them, and I knew how to do it. I knew the basics, and it was actually one of the deeper MMO experiences I've ever had. Yeah, so it was great for me, and I just wanted to continue that on. When I something happened in 2013 for me, and I haven't gone back to MMOs to roleplay. We lost our child. The baby was still in a womb, my wife's womb, but it affected me profoundly, and I just couldn't really play. I was in an RP guild in the Old Republic, Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I wasn't myself after that. I didn't think it would affect me so much. It's just that both my kids are autistic. I don't like to talk about that, but I had one, and he's a little bit more severe, though a lot of people can't tell. Because he doesn't act. Neither of my kids act really bad. It's just they don't get a lot of things, and there be delays in certain areas. And actually, my younger son is actually ahead in reading, which is also apparently part of the spectrum. He was reading his first words at age 3, which is crazy. And we weren't teaching him. I was showing him a lot of cue cards and letters. Maybe that helped. I would go through like 10 to 20 minutes showing him all the letters of the alphabet and the sounds. And I think that was that. Whoa, I really got off topic here, but obviously there was a logical progression to get to where I am. Yeah, so geez. Yeah, so I lost the son, and I never went back to it, but I wanted to carry that legacy of playing a character. I do think that I'll never be able to play like that in character again, and I do miss it. And there was romances in it. I wasn't going to cheat on my wife, but there was fully in character romances that everybody in the guild was getting into. Everybody. There was some that got really into it, but it also touches you emotionally when you do get into things like that and you play fully in character. There's out of character talk too. It's not just we were completely but there would be in, what was it? Oh, brackets. So 2 brackets on each side of the sentence would be out of character stuff. And it was very rich. Like you would start, we had this camp. We had our camps? Yeah, there was a different camp for each of the destruction factions. There's 3 destruction. There's the Greenskins, the Dark Elves, and who was the other one? Oh, the Chaos. They're like mutated human types. Yeah, so yeah, we would start up, and then, I don't know, I was a Dark Elf. We were like the elite of the group. We were very much, we thought we were superior to the others, and yeah, there was a lot of women came in and roleplayed with us too, so yeah, it was a very rich experience, and that's always going to stick with me. I tried to do something like that again in the Old Republic. It just wasn't the same, especially, I don't know, I had changed, and I guess I had forgotten some of the cardinal rules of, I think it helps to be more of a mysterious person. Not lay out your entire life. Like as soon as I hit my late 30s, I'm just like, I've just become such a big talker. I talk about everything. So yeah, if you want romance in real life, don't just lay it all out immediately. All your failures and all your things that you want. Be a little bit more mysterious and lead them into it. Tips for role-playing romances. So, also, I think that going in fully in character was shown to me by Gamer Poets back in 2014. It gave me a lot of ideas. So I upped my game from semi-role-playing to being fully in character. So what are your future plans for your channel? To continue what I'm doing, to refine my voice acting and put out some of the best content on YouTube, which I think I do. I do know I make mistakes, but I think in general my videos are much superior when it comes to actually following the game's story, a story in the games, instead of just somebody having top 10 best companions for Skyrim, things like that. Things that like Fudge Muppet does, where they don't show the games, they talk about the game and the lore. Obviously, that's a completely different genre, but for actually, when it comes to Let's Roleplay / Let's Plays, I think I'm number 1, personally. I mean, you can say PewDiePie is a lot more fun to watch, and I watched a lot of his Minecraft videos in the last few years. I don't think since I started my channel, but it is something for me and my older son to watch. Yeah, he's very much a goof, but he's funny. Halfway through it, the fun part of his behavior kind of, you're just like, oh, stop talking about it. Whenever somebody dies, he was like a son to me. He was like a father to me. Yes, it gets a little bit old. You have to... I think you know what I'm talking about. I like PewDiePie with some of the things I've seen, but I'm not a huge follower of his. I'll never be able to compete with him. He started earlier. He's much more outgoing. He's funny than I am in general. I'm more serious, but I like to have a lot of actual heart and soul in my stuff like that I do. And I deal with a lot of serious stuff. Like, oh my god, Fallout 4. If you actually went through what your character goes through, it would be so heartbreaking. I don't know how many people can keep on going after you don't even know the world that you're in, and your son is gone, your baby son is gone, your wife is dead, everybody you know is dead. Jeez, the world is not just that, the world's gone. There's like practically no one left. There's raiders, and there's that group of settlers you run into, and they tell you about Diamond City, and there's a few people out there, and it's like the population dropped to like 1/10,000th of what it was. It's kind of depressing. So yeah, so I want to have my channel grow and be able to support me and my family. That's my future plans. Continue what I'm doing. Yeah, so you did ask, what are your future plans for your channel? To continue what I'm doing, refine my voice acting, put up some of the best content on YouTube. I have a lot of game series that I would like to get through. The Witcher games would be the next big series for me, personally. I know that Neverwinter Nights has its own following. I see that more as like a in-the-middle type for me, personally. So how long does it take you to create a backstory for your characters? So my answer is... it's kind of complicated, actually. It all depends. I actually think Ryan Moore for Fallout 4 was the most difficult because I left it to the last moment, and the reason for that was because it's not so open compared to most RPGs, in that the character you create is kind of locked into a specific position. Like, as a male, you're married, you're a father, you have recent experience in the army. As a female, you're married, you're a mother, and you have a law degree. So I had to come up with something to fit in, and I thought it would be easy, but typically I think ahead of time, sometimes years ahead. So I already know what I want my Skyrim character to be. I've known that for over a year now, how that's all going to play out. How long does it take? That's hard to answer, really, because the backstory for my character starts out with a basic story and then gets filled in as the videos go on. Whatever ideas come to me from real life or in the game as I go, I put them in my videos. On the spot, I can create just about anything within minutes, but it can take months or longer to fill in all the character as the story develops and progresses. I don't know how it will all turn out, and it just unravels as each video comes. So that's a crazy question to answer. I can do it in a couple minutes, and it takes months to even, I think it was 10 months. It took me 10 months to do Morrowind, and the character wasn't... I mean, you just can keep on going and create stuff as it goes, but for the most part, I guess after the middle of that, there's 213 videos, so 106 videos, 107 videos in, the character is pretty fleshed out. You can always keep making stuff up as you go, though. It's just all about your creativity. So I think that's everything covered. I have links to my channel banner, to Steam if you would like to friend me or follow me there. There's also a link there to my Parler account if you would like to help out and support Let's Roleplay. You can donate at my Patreon account or become a member of my channel, which also comes with perks. Just click on the join video to watch what I put together and what you get as a member. Alright, thanks for watching, everyone, despite my rambling.